Good morning. Should I start this off like the Gossip Girl intro? Good morning, Upper East Siders. Gossip Girl here, spotted in her Manhattan apartment. It is ESPYS Day. So as of tomorrow, I will have lived in New York City for 2 weeks. I feel like I've kind of re-explain this over and over, especially if you've watched my TikToks, which you totally should watch my TikToks. I keep more up to date on my TikTok with what's happening. But to fill you guys in case you haven't seen my other videos, I moved to New York to go to Columbia University for my master's program. And I moved here from East Tennessee, deep in the mountains. So we've had some hurdles to get over. We've had some new opportunities to take, some new people to meet, and I have really loved it here so far. One of those opportunities is I am going to the ESPYS tonight with my roommate. We're both going to be seat fillers, so that basically is like when you have an award ceremony in a venue, you want on camera for it to look like the venue is full, but obviously it's not going to be full because it's only going to be the people who are nominated and their guests mainly. So they bring in seat fillers to make sure that if somebody gets up from their seat, like to go to the bathroom, there's somebody to fill that seat so that it doesn't look like there's an empty spot on camera. And usually there will be a bunch like in the farther rows, if that makes sense, just to have like the backdrop of a crowd. So that's what we're gonna get to do today. And I am not allowed to take pictures or video at the actual event, but I'm gonna take you guys with me all the way leading up to and then debrief afterwards, and I'm gonna try and get as many photos around as I can. And I'm definitely gonna give you guys a very in-depth description of what is going down today because I'm super excited. And I'm especially excited because Marcela Hernandez is hosting, and I love SNL and I love Marcelo, so this is gonna be so much fun. We went ahead and bought dresses off of Revolve because they asked us to wear neutral colors. I think they asked for darker colors as well, so we both got simple black dresses. So we'll do a little try on, and we're supposed to be there before 5:30 is the cutoff. So it's early this morning. We, the other night, took a U-Haul all the way from Manhattan to Brooklyn to Queens, back to our apartment, back to Brooklyn to get the couch and the coffee table. And that was my first time driving a U-Haul, but it was kind of fun. So if you want to see what that adventure looks like, check out my TikTok. I made a mini vlog-ish about that experience. But that's kind of like typical New Yorker to have a green couch on Facebook Marketplace that you gotta get to from point A to point B somehow, and then carrying it up the stairs was an interesting hassle. So we were out all night doing that, which kind of threw off our sleep schedules. So this morning I was up at like 6 a.m. and then just kind of rested a little bit until now. It's a little bit later, but I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that I have all of my stuff together and make sure that my roommate Alexa has time to get ready as well when she gets off of work. So yeah, this will be more of a get ready with me and chat. So I live in a 2-bedroom apartment. I'm not gonna tell you guys where, but it is in Manhattan. And I met my roommate online. My post about getting into Columbia kind of blew up and got like 130 something thousand views, which is crazy. That had not happened to me before on Instagram, and I had several people DMing me looking for a roommate. And Alexa is a documentarian herself, and my concentration in my journalism program is documentary, so we had a lot in common, really hit it off. And she luckily subletted in New York this summer and was able to find the place for us, which a lot of people when you move to the city will tell you to sublet first for that reason and to not go ahead and sign a lease. But we were in a position where she could actually go and look at the spaces and find the one that was right for us. And it is really difficult to get a lease in the city because you have to have so many documents, and you have to make, I think it's 4 times the rent or 8 times the rent to not have a cosigner, or the cosigner has to make that. So we had to figure that out, which was super difficult, but I am taking out student loans for housing costs and obviously my tuition, so that's something I'm gonna have to be thinking about in the next few years. But with that, I've been looking for a job, and it's gonna be very difficult to balance a job with my program. They actually recommend that you don't work while you're doing the journalism master's because it is so intensive. And as far as I know, what I'm looking at is at least an 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. every single day for class. But I'm still going to try to do it, at least this summer. So I got one job, and in 2 days I have an interview for another job. The first one and then this next one are more like standard jobs that have a little leniency with scheduling so that I can work and be in school at the same time. And that's really what I need, because I want to make sure that I have some money flow coming in to at least cover my rent costs, so that I don't have to worry about paying that back when I graduate. I can just worry about paying back my tuition and then whatever else I needed to like cover like food or even like electricity costs if I needed to do that. So that is the plan right now, and it is a lot, right now because there's not as much support for students getting loans right now, obviously, and that really sucks. But Columbia was my dream, and I fully believe that if you want something in life, you gotta just go for it. Always have a plan B and a plan C, and always prepare yourself for the worst going in. Make sure that you're never jumping into something blind, but don't be afraid to take the leap. I have gotten this far in my life because I've taken leaps when I had a dream or something that I wanted to accomplish. If I had never taken any leaps, I would have never made it to Columbia, I would have never made it to New York, I would have never made it to all of the rooms that I've been in so far that I've really loved, and this was never going to be any different. I wanted to fully see how far I could go and just trust myself that I'm going to make it work, because I've made it work so far. I think that's a very common mindset for people living in New York, because obviously it is quite a leap to choose to move here. But I have loved it here so far. I've met so many amazing people. I have been told on many occasions that I'm an extrovert, which makes me really happy, because several years ago I would have never considered myself an extrovert. So getting to like see my growth play out in real time is really cool. I also have been model scouted a few times, and I think that's pretty normal here. A lot of the people I've met do modeling as like a side hustle. I think that's really cool. It's never something that I really went for, but I've been told my whole life that I should model because I'm tall. I'm 5'11". So I'm gonna get digitals and just see how it goes, see if I like it, see if I can get hired. You know, just feel it out, because there's so much opportunity here. Why not just give it a go? I have also been on 2 dates, which I keep bringing up in my TikToks and things because that is just so funny to me. Like, I got asked out on a date my second night here. My first time going out, I didn't even drink that night. I just had gone out to see the vibes. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go, because I knew I could maybe learn something from this. I went, I had a really good time. We went on a second date, like, within a week of me being here, and I got asked on a date by another guy as well, but I'm not gonna go on that one, and I'm not going on a third date with the first guy. Not because there's, like, anything really wrong. I had a great time. I've learned a lot. I just think that I need to focus on myself right now. I am such a career-driven person that I would hate to not put that first on my list of priorities. And I don't think that I, would lose track of that by dating. That's absolutely not the case. I just have never been like a super big, like, romantic, dating and finding my person kind of girl. I've never really cared too much about the dating scene. So yeah, I just wasn't feeling the vibes, and I don't think it's my time yet. I think there are other things that I want to focus on first, and I'm also having this hard time detaching from like people intimacy, if you're catching my drift. Like, I moved here at the expense of like leaving behind friends and family and people that I worked with on a daily basis, people I went to school with, you know, just like my community. And so I think it's going to take me a little more time to grow comfortable in starting over and finding my new group. And I think I'll really start trying out the dating scene again once I've found my core group of like friends and my people. Because it's like more fun if you don't have to navigate that on your own. And I'm not on my own, but you know, I think I need a little bit more time. I totally thought that I was going to have a Gossip Girl summer, but I have never felt more like Carrie Bradshaw in my life. Just a writer in New York trying to figure out life and documenting it for everybody. There are two things that have been weighing on my mind recently, not just in the move, but also just in being newly post-grad. And you guys can probably hear the construction going on outside, I'm sorry. But it's in identity and in content creation. I guess I could say the reflection of that identity online. I wanted to start making videos and posting them. I am such a creative that it's important for me to have a strong portfolio, but I also kind of just want to share my life and have more confidence in being like a personality, if that makes sense. I love being on camera. I love creating things. I always have. I've been making YouTube videos since I was little. I've always loved it. But I need to be taking it more seriously for career reasons now. Because before, when I was younger and I was in school, YouTube and content creation could have been like a hobby for me, and it was. But now that I'm having to think about a career in the job market, it's kind of more of a strategic move now, and I have to constantly be thinking about how I am representing myself on camera, and that's really scary because I don't feel like on TikTok or on Reels or short form content that I am truly showing off my real self, because it's really hard to when you're not taking the time. It's hard to show your true self in like a 10-second video or even like a 3-minute video, and especially if you're not talking to the camera. It's like such a small snippet of our lives, and that's why cancel culture and things like that, where people are super parasocial, are really dangerous right now, because I think we kind of forget that you're not getting the full picture on short form content things. Whereas on YouTube, I really like this. I really like being able to just talk to the camera and be myself and have a one-on-one-ish conversation, because I feel like I'm able to put my best foot forward and you can really see me. I also don't want to come across like I'm being disingenuous, is the word. Like I'm not being genuine, because I am. And I think that that is such a tricky slope to go down when you start losing yourself, I think, to the camera a little bit and to the audience. It's such a difficult thing to balance, because you never know when you're going to make a mistake or when things aren't going to be received how you thought, and that's kind of scary. My other dilemma is that I know what I want to do with my life, and I've known my entire life what I want to do, but being in a creative field, it feels so impossible to achieve, because in most creative spaces, there's not just like a job application or a standard structure that you follow. It's kind of all in who you know and how lucky you can get. I have been trying to get my novels published for years. I have been writing my entire life since before I even fully understood how to write. I would like tell people my stories and have them write them down for me, and those would be my books. Like I know that I was born to be a writer. I write every single day. Like, that is just my passion. But it is so hard to get published. It's like less than 1% of people. It's probably like way less. It's probably like point something % of people that get traditionally published, and that is the dream. Because I know that I could be self-published at any time, but that was just never what I imagined for myself. And there's nothing wrong with being self-published. It's a really great route to go, especially for debut authors. But that's just not in my vision. That's just not what feels right to me. So I keep prolonging this journey of trying over and over and over to find an agent, to find somebody who will take a chance on my work. And it's tough. It's tough to wake up every day and remind yourself that you are talented, and it's just the way that things are. And the fact that your time just hasn't come yet is not a reflection of your ability. So we keep writing, and we keep looking for an agent, and we keep trying. And one of these days, I hope somebody takes a chance and I get to just be a writer. That is something that scares me, figuring out my identity online as well, because even with like the modeling thing, like I've never tried it, even though people have always told me I should, because it's like, what if I give my all to this thing and I get really, really good at it, and that becomes like what I'm known for? Then will people still take me seriously as a writer, as my like number one passion, the thing that I know I'm meant to do? Or will people see me as this other thing and then be like, why is she writing books now? That's not what she does. That is such a fear that I have, and that prevents me from really fully going for certain things in life. And I've always been one to go for things and not have fear, but I'm always thinking about like, is this going to pair well with what I truly want to do, or is this going to be like a dead end for me? Because I'm not willing to give up that dream, and you just never know how people are going to perceive you. It's so scary, and maybe it's not that serious, and I hope it's not that serious, but it's like, I don't know, because I've not accomplished the thing yet. I feel like I do really well on camera, and I do really well on stage, and I have done so much public speaking and broadcast work. I worked for TED conferences for 4 years now, training other people to speak in front of an audience, and I do really well at relaying my thoughts verbally. But even after all of that experience, I still feel like my true vision, my true voice is always going to come out in my writing. That is truly where I am the most myself, and I would give anything to just be able to put my real self out in the world in the way that I dreamt it would be. Because I've thought about doing the Substack thing, and I've written some stuff anonymously online before, like narrative work, and I've done the workshop thing, and obviously I got into Columbia, and I got into the journalism program because I spent so much time working in journalism, but I also got into the screenwriting and directing program because I've done so much with screenplays and in classes. But I want to see my work on a bookshelf. And I love writing for TV too. I've always said like I want to screenwrite, but it's always in my head been like novels, dip into screenwriting, dip into producing for TV, but always at the end of the day return to the writing element. In a perfect world, that is the trajectory. This kind of turned away from a conversation about like New York and the ESPYs and more into like Macy's inner fears and her heart's desires, but I am definitely doing well at the just going for it part of moving here, I think, so far. So I'm going to continue down that path and take you guys with me for all the new pictures. Here is the makeup. I decided to do a dark lip. I usually do a light lip. And I'm gonna put some gloss on, but yeah. I like this. I think it's gonna go well with my black dress, and I might curl my hair, so we'll see. Okay. This isn't the best angle to show it off, but this is the dress. Very cute. Love it. Super simple. I hope that looks okay. I did not curl my hair, but I kind of like this straight hair. I think it's cute. Super simple, and I just love this dress. It's very pretty. And I will definitely make sure that you guys get to see it properly. Hey friends, it is the next morning because we got home around 2 a.m. last night and just crashed. So I think I've shown you some videos already, but I'm going to show you some pictures and I'm going to walk you through what the night actually looks like. So we got to Lincoln Center and we had a specific entrance that we were supposed to use that was separate from like the media entrance and then obviously the red carpet as well. So we went through our entrance, we got checked in. It actually rained on our walk there. We stepped off the subway and it was pouring rain and we were like, what are we gonna do? Because we didn't have umbrellas. So we asked this guy if we could buy his umbrella off of him, and he was so sweet, he just gave it to us. And so I need to like really like thank the universe for that, because we would have been absolutely soaked.
There's no shot as it started raining. I'm taking a video. This is awesome.
It's raining in New York.
We're so here for it.
Otherwise, so we walked through the rain for a long while to get to Lincoln Center and go into our entrance, sign in. They gave us wristbands. I'm going to show you what the wristbands looks like. Yeah, it says ESPYS on it, which is so cool. So that was how you knew when someone was a seat filler, because they had the wristband on. They had us wait for a little while. We got to kind of hang out and see a bunch of people coming in for like media, and then they brought us into the actual theater, which was huge and super nice, and they told us kind of how it works. So if you're a seat filler, basically that means that you're filling a seat until the person who actually has that seat, the celebrity who has that seat, actually gets there. And when they get there, you get up and you go find another empty seat, and that could be because they're running late, they're not showing up, or because they've like gone to the bathroom or to get a water or something. So we're basically just playing musical chairs all night, but we were super close to the stage the whole time. My friend Alexa actually didn't move at all because her person never showed up, but I moved around a bunch, which was cool because I kind of got to see it from different angles. But you're not allowed to talk to the celebrities unless they talk to you first, and you're not allowed to take pictures with them, but they did kind of not raise any eyebrows at us taking pictures or videos at the actual event. So I got some that I'll show you. We got to see Marcelo Hernandez host, which is like a dream come true because I love SNL and I love Marcelo. My undergrad roommate and I had a picture of him on our wall for 2 years. So this was a very full circle moment. And Ben Marshall was there, and Ben Marshall is my favorite cast member, so I was freaking out. And I couldn't talk to him if I wanted to, but I was trying all night to get like closer and closer to him, and people kept cutting me off, and I was so distraught because I just love him, and several of them were there. Marcelo did amazing. It was hilarious. He brought Will Ferrell on stage at one point to make a joke. There was also Alyssa Liu was there. She won an award. The Knicks were there, winning several things. Alona Mar was there, which was so cool. Simone Biles, Jake Paul, and Mike Tyson. Kevin Hart was there. DJ Khaled. Like, just lots and lots of like really like super famous people, and it was so surreal. And I really enjoyed the show as well, because it's not just, you know, highlighting famous athletes, it's also highlighting people who have like given back in big ways, who've made an impact on the world, and also like high school and college athletes as well. So that was really interesting to see. So that was the night. I fully got to watch the whole show, like super close to the stage, and I felt really like just cool getting to be there. And we were told that there was like 9,000 people that applied to be a seat filler for the event, and so I felt special for getting to be accepted and getting to actually go, because there were not 9,000 of us. There was like maybe 100 of us max, and I think that might be like, you know, there's maybe like 100, maybe a little over 100, but there was nowhere near like 500, 1,000 like at all. So it was cool to know that this was like a unique experience. And now that I've done it once, that will go on my like profile, so if I want to do it again, which I absolutely do for another event, that'll help me kind of be able to prove that I know what I'm doing for those. So yeah, I'm definitely doing this again. After the event, they had obviously all of the people who were like high profile go to the after party, and then everyone else kind of left. But at that point it was like 11:30 because it was a 3-hour show and we had to get there an hour early, or like an hour and a half early. So we'd been there a long time and we were so tired and hungry and thirsty, so we ran across the street and we got some food, and then we went and got ice cream actually at Times Square right across from Radio City Music Hall. So we were kind of running around at night, and honestly that was like something that surprised me, was being in Times Square in that area in the middle of the night was the safest I have felt this whole time. And I felt relatively safe across New York, but there's always like things that you need to be watching out for. There was none of that. There was like genuinely like hardly anyone out, and it felt super like, I don't know, just like cool to be there with all the lights and stuff going on, but like no people around. So would recommend like taking a walk down Times Square at 2 in the morning for sure with a friend. Yeah, so we came back and it was so late, we were so tired, we just crashed, and that was the night. Just getting to like say that I went to the ESPYs is so cool, and I got to see some of my idols, like people that I really love, like Alyssa Liu. I don't know if I mentioned her before. Alyssa Liu was there. She won and she presented, and I love her, and I love Alona Mar, and then my SNL people. Just being in the presence of so many people that I look up to was just amazing. Even though we like couldn't really talk or network with them, it really wasn't that kind of event because they didn't have us at tables. They had us sitting in rows. So even the people who were like there to be recognized weren't doing a whole lot of networking, it didn't look like. I think most people were just there to watch the show and say hello to the people that they already knew. So it didn't feel like I was kind of out of place, not talking to anybody. There was so much done to like recognize people who have made a difference in the sports community, and that was probably my favorite part. Getting to see that is very inspirational, and I had so many people at home that were like watching, trying to see me in the background too, and that was really cool. So if you ever want to be a seat filler for an awards show, you probably have to be located in New York, LA, Vegas, or maybe Miami. But if you are and you want to do it, I absolutely recommend it. You should totally look into it because it was so much fun, and it was really fun getting to walk around New York at night in like full black tie attire, just looking like $1,000,000. We looked like spies. We looked like we were on a mission. 11 out of 10 experience. Would definitely do again. Will probably do again, and I will vlog that as well. And I think I'm gonna go try my first New York City bagel. So check out my TikTok if you want to see what I think of that, because I will probably film it. And for more content about the ESPYs, about New York, short form, just what my life is looking like right now, follow me at Macy.Strader on TikTok. Thanks so much for watching, guys. This was such a special one, and I hope that you guys stay tuned because we're going to be doing a lot more side quests like this. See y'all in the next one.